YouTubers. I was just sitting here doing a little project that I usually hate to do with a passion. I've always shied away from stainless steel braided lines because I absolutely hated working with them. And then after poking my fingers 4 or 5 times, losing maybe a half pint of blood, my brain finally kicked in and I was like, wait a minute, there's a hack for doing these stainless steel braided lines. So what I did was I went ahead and got my 180 degree fitting installed on one end of my transmission line, and I thought, before I mess up an opportunity, I need to make a video so I can show everybody else how even a dumb person with one hand can do these stupid stainless steel braided lines without losing their mind, wanting to kill their dog or anything like that. Because the problem you'll have if you try to follow a lot of the other videos you see on YouTube, it talks about tightly wrapping black electrical tape around this stainless steel braid and then taking a cutoff wheel and cutting around it slowly so that it doesn't fray. Let me show you the results of that technique. You see that? That's bad news, and I'm gonna call that blood loss. But when I remembered from back in the early 2000s, which was the last time I used stainless steel braid, when I did my 71 Pontiac Ventura race car, I was like, wait a minute, I figured out a hack of how to do this stuff that's super simple. Anybody could do it. And I did those other, those 180 degree fittings, and I'm like, well, I got these other fittings. I'll make a short video, show you guys how to do it. Back to the wrapping it tightly with black electrical tape, and then slowly cutting around it with a cutoff wheel, and then coming through and then cleaning it up. That doesn't work, and I'll tell you why. The heat that's generated by your cutoff disc melts this black electrical tape. And I've used 3M black electrical, I've used all the name brands, and it just doesn't work. Because by the time you get done trying to work your way around, it ends up fraying the stupid stainless steel, and that's what we don't want. Because the stainless steel, once it gets frayed, it won't go into your fitting. You can just hang that up. You can play with all the screwdrivers you want, but I'm going to show you the way to do it, where you can get all these done in probably under 15-20 minutes tops, and be blowing the hose out with an air compressor and putting it on the car. So let's start with that process. Hey guys, my brain just kicked in and I realized not everybody's going to be familiar with these AN fittings, stainless steel braided line, all that stuff. So let's just kind of hit this real quick with an overview. Basically, you're going to have a stainless steel braided product, which is going to be your hose or your line for your fuel, transmission, oil cooler, whatever your application might be, which is going to have your hose on the inside. And there again, there are different kinds of hose for different kinds of applications, surrounded with like usually 2 to 3 layers of stainless steel braided metal that helps protect this line against cuts, abrasion, whatever kind of damage while it's in use. So the way this works is you would normally measure your line for your application, cut it to length, and then you would install your AN fitting on the end. So you would cut it to length, and you would take and shove, and then you'll be able to see when it's frayed like this, there's no way to use this end with an AN fitting. But if this was cut and not frayed, you would literally insert it inside of this. Sorry, gotta get it on camera there, Jeff. You insert it until it seats. Up inside of there is a air, there it is, near the top or that of the inside of that fitting where the other part's gonna screw in, there's a physical stop. So you'll basically push this on the hose and turn it until it just spook, comes to a complete dead stop. Then you can flip it over and look down, and that stainless steel braided hose should be flush up against the bottom of where those threads end. Like if you consider the threads starting on the exterior and ending on the interior, that hose should be flat up against the bottom of those threads. Then what you'll do, and another trick we'll get to here in just a second, get your STP oil treatment, because it will be your friend. But you will shove this down over the hose, then you will take this piece, and what this does is this is going to thread down into the exterior collar and force this tube, I guess you could call it, down inside your stainless steel braided line, and then just clamp it where it can't be pulled off or leak or anything like that. But that's how the fittings will work on this stainless steel braided line. So now let's get back to the regular scheduled program and show you how to do this easily, even with one hand. All right, guys, first thing we're going to do, and I wish I'm out of it, so we're going to try to make do here. We are going to try to wrap as tight as we can, just a couple, 2 or 3 wraps with that stupid electrical tape that's going to melt. Normally I like to use a fiber reinforced tape, and apparently I'm out of it, so let's get our electrical tape on there just to kind of hold her tight. I had thought, the reason I have this sitting here, this blue tape, is now that I've got this wrapped around tightly, I thought about putting some of that paper tape on there to see if it would help hold it from the melting issue that it generally has. But I think what I'm going to do first, because I got plenty of length, is just go ahead and use my hack on this, and we'll go from there. Boom. What is that? What the heck is that? It's a small hose clamp. Literally, you are going to hose clamp this thing as tightly as you can, I mean, without totally destroying the hose, because of course the hose clamp could just crush this thing down to nothing. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it up so that we can get it apart. Of course, it wants to be super strong when I'm trying to make a video, because why not, right? So I'm just gonna, hope you guys can see this. I'm gonna open up this clamp, because there's no way in the world you're gonna slip it over that crap. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our clamp happy here. We're gonna get it back together. There we go, we backed her up just a skosh. So basically what I did was opened up the clamp so I could get it around this hose, because I've already got a fitting on that end, and there's no way in the world you're gonna fight with trying to slip it over that, because you're gonna just sit there and poke your fingers a million times. But basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna start snugging this down. Don't go too far, because we still gotta get it over this tape. You're going to cover just the width of this clamp on that tape, and we're going to snug it down. Now keep in mind, we're not trying to, you know, crush this thing into submission. We're just going to go until it feels, see right there, as soon as it gets snug, you know, this is just my technique, guys. Grab it and just use your finger, your index finger and your thumb to hold like a rounded surface. As soon as it has some resistance, then you know you got a pretty good clamp on there. All right, guys, so the hope, because this is a test of the emergency broadcast system, since I don't have my fiber tape that I normally use, but what I want to do is cut it around kind of from both sides. Don't try to just plunge cut it, because I mean, it might work that way with my clamp technique, but I just haven't done it that way, and I don't want to take a chance on getting a lot of stragglers. So here we go. Try to follow that hose clamp and give it a nice backstop where to stop at. And now that we've got it to cut and fall, we're going to take the side of our cutoff wheel and just kind of clean it up. If you got any stragglers, any piece of anything hanging off, just real carefully grind them smooth. Got that little piece of stuff wanting to give me the trouble there, so I'll just grind that smooth. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. Alright, so let's go to the next step. Okay, cut number 2. The black electrical tape by itself, as I feared, did not work. It just started fraying as soon as I tried to put it into the fitting over there. So I'm trying this time to wrap it with, I'm wrapping it tightly by stretching the black electrical tape and then putting blue painter's tape as tight as I can around it to hopefully get it to hold. If that doesn't work, probably gonna have to go to the hardware store and get some of that fiber reinforced tape that I was telling you about. Alright guys, just wanted to show you. It's a nice smooth cut. We don't have any frays sticking out. Of course, had to do it twice because like I said, the black electrical tape by itself melts and will let this stuff fray. So if you don't have any fiber reinforced tape that can hold this without melting, I'm trying to find a hack to work around not having the right kind of tape, because I had some for the first 2 fittings, but then I ran out. So basically what we're going to do is we will completely lubricate the inside of this fitting with STP oil treatment. We will lubricate the insertion, the other half of the fitting with STP oil treatment. And if it works this time, because you know, having the right tape is the key apparently. But having this hose clamp on here to kind of hold this thing as tight as you can, literally just boom, pop that thing off, get it up here to your fitting, and just insert it in. Sometimes it helps. There it goes. Sometimes it helps. I don't even take the tape off, guys. I just shove that thing in there and twist it until it bottoms out, and I'll show you where we're at. Boop. If you can look down in there, hope you can see that black hose, the inner hose of that stainless steel braid is right at the stop, right where the threads stop inside that fitting. That's where that thing's gonna sit. Now what I do, because I'm using the STP oil treatment, is I can just start it by hand. So basically you want to take one hand, which I don't, you can use a vise if you want. I'm just holding it here for the camera, and just start this thing, start threading this thing in, because here in a minute, when it gets a little harder to turn, we will take and put it in the red thing in the vise and finish snugging this thing up. But you would not believe how much the STP helps this process. Now, I do not care if these fittings get a little scarred up during the process, but if you are wanting to make sure your stuff stays pretty, wrap your fittings with, I'd say probably Gorilla Tape. I don't know, you might be able to just get the soft jaws for your vise to be able to hold these, but I'm not worried about them being pretty. I just want the stupid things together. So basically, you just run this thing down until it's tight. I'm very happy to see that I could use the black electrical tape to compress the hose and then support it with the blue painter's tape to keep it from melting and fraying. Now when you get to the bottom of this, it's just going to snug, and then you line up your flat and it's done. Stainless steel braided in, inserted and tightened. And the reason I say, because when this thing snugs down and gets tight, you're not really going to be able to turn it any farther. Most of the time, in my experience, when it gets tight, you're going to be pretty close to lining up your flats, because that's what looks the best. So I just go ahead and snug it down till it stops, line up the flats, and old Jed, your uncle, see? There's always a little way to work around these stupid projects that you don't really want to do. Now make sure when you get done assembling your AN hoses, because when you cut this ends off with that high-speed cutoff wheel, you're going to have dust from that inner hose and pieces of almost like little small debris from the stainless steel that you need to make sure you blow out of these stainless steel braided lines with compressed air. Clean them and clean them and clean them. And right before you put them on the car, blow them out again, because you don't want to have any kind of contamination coming through here, particularly on your fuel system. If you're running a carburetor, you can run into problems. Fuel injection, injector could get plugged or hung open and fill the cylinder with gas. Make sure you clean these things out really good, guys. But apparently, we have proven that if you will wrap this as tight as you can with like 2 or 3 rounds of black electrical tape, and then just go over the top of that as tight as you can without tearing it, because God knows painter's tape is not the strongest thing in the world, and just wrap it maybe 1 to 2 rounds with that painter's tape, it'll actually support that hose and keep that black tape from just completely melting and disintegrating at the cut, which allows the braid to fray and keeps it from going into the stupid fitting. But that's all you got to do, guys. And if you can find some of that heavy duty, like 1-inch wide fiber reinforced tape at the store, then you won't have to do that weird double wrap thing. You can just wrap it as tight as you can with one, put your hose clamp on, make your cut. Make sure you take off any stragglers that are hanging out past your hose clamp. Lube everything with a little STP, straight STP oil treatment. Push her together, screw it, and you're done. That's my hack, guys. And if I can do it with my stupid 1.5 hands, I promise you, it'll be easy for you, probably a lot easier than you could imagine. So thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully you guys are having a good weekend. Stay safe out there. Don't be going around getting sick on me.